and then you can.
Hello. Now, I'm Janet Christensen O'Brien, and today I'd like to talk to you about devil drugs. They're a very serious matter because it's killing all sorts of people. It's not just our youth, it's not just our teenagers, it's not just our 50 and 60-year-olds, it's just killing us all. And what the drug does to us is it makes you like a zombie, and it just freezes your mind, it kills your soul. And I also wanted to say that in Seattle there is hope. There's hope for the homeless. I was walking down the street today from my office in Pioneer Building, and I saw this little backpack full of coats, and I saw this little plastic container with a blanket in it, and it was sitting outside of this tent. And so in Seattle, we do really care. We care about the homeless. We care about the drug overdose. We care about the violence. We care about the gangs. You know, this is my TV show, and I'm I'm at Seattle Community College. I'm sorry, I'm confused because I'm also a private detective, and my company is Seattle Detective Bureau. Yes, I do interviews of the homeless. I do interviews of drug activity for different cases that I might be working on. But I also do TV shows. I'm here at the TV station right here. Public Interest Issue Show is my show. Now, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk around. I'm going to show you the facilities here. And I'm going to take my little note with me so I can talk to you a little more. Now I'm getting up, I'm gonna do my little twirl. See, these are the cameras right here. The cameras, when you come into my show, you sit right down there at the desk and you talk to me about what it is you want to tell me. These are the cameras, they're all set, and then, you know, I like to twirl before I go on the air. That just kind of relaxes me, that gets me in the mood to talk to you. Now, today the commentary is about devil drugs. Now, devil drugs are very, very serious. I saw these in the Caribbean about 20 years ago, 96, 97, 98. And in the Caribbean, what happened is these drugs, people would take them, the tourists would come down there and they'd take them, and it would totally absorb their mind. You'd see these 20, 30-year-olds, they'd be sitting down right in St. Croix. We have these gigantic flower pots in the middle of the downtown where there's a wharf and there's a seaplane. It's very beatific. The plane comes in and there's a charter boat that goes over to St. Thomas, and it's a very beatific. You have one coffee shop, and you have frozen food, and it's in a refrigerated section with just a plastic covering it. We don't have the doors on a plastic container, but the thing is, the drugs were there. You would see these people, they're just sitting around, sitting next to a flower pot, and their mind was gone. They'd like walk around a little half a block radius, and they would not be able to function. And I see the same kind of thing here. Now, it took 20 years for that same kind of drug to get here. And now people are mixing it up by all sorts of things. They're just kind of, it's a homemade industry. This devil drug is a homemade industry. It's really shocking. It's really scary. I've interviewed a few people about it, and they all say that people who go on it, it's like their mind freezes and they become like zombies. They can no longer function, and they are living in tents, and they're losing weight, and they're just drifting around. And it's a very, very scary thing. I don't know what we can do about this. I don't know how we're going to stop it. I don't know where it's coming from, but the new devil drug is killing people. It is killing you. Do not try it as a homemade remedy. It is killing people. And the thing is, my show is about different topics. Right now, I've had a lot of people call me up on my TV show and ask me to do a segment on drugs. I've interviewed a lot of people about devil drugs, And you just have to leave the buildings in downtown Pioneer Square and in near Nordstrom's, Westlake Center, and all over the areas. You just have to, and in the U District, you just have to walk around there and look and see all these people just sleeping around. Some of them are just homeless. Some of them, you could be one paycheck away not to have drugs, but to just be homeless. You know, this new economy is really a hard economy. It's hard to find work. It's hard to find jobs. We have to have some kind of resource for people that are okay, but they're almost not going to make it. You know, the Compass Center is where people can go, they can take a shower, they can check in, they can check their mail. The homeless shelters, they can do that. But we have to have something for people who are just kind of struggling to get by. They're not really making a living. The food banks are okay. That helps them a little. But we've got to help them with their integrity. We've got to find some kind of way so that not just the people out on the street, not just the people living in their cars, not just the homeless, but the people who are the low-income wage earner that are just not scraping by. We've got to have some kind of fund in Seattle, that, like a food bank, that people can go in and get cash. You know, if you need like some groceries, you can go to a food bank. And if you need like $50 for the week, you can go into another resource center. You know, if you need a shower, you go into a different resource center. And we need to have these kind of resources. We need to have different community activities because Seattle cares. Seattle, we care about you. We have all sorts of people during the holiday that come around and make sure that people are eating. They hand out sandwiches to the homeless. They do all sorts of different things. But we have to do the same kind of thing every day of the week to find out if everybody's okay. Now, my show, I'm comfortable. I'm here at Seattle Community Media. This is a wonderful studio. See, there's lights, there's tables, there's chairs, there's desks, there's all sorts of things for you. And if you want to, if you have a cause, you can come in here to Seattle Community Media and you can do the same thing. It isn't much. It's like $35 a year, $35 a year or $65 a year to come in here. Be your own producer, get your own show on the air. Now, I want to bring you back over to the place where I sit and put on the show. Now this is very important for you to follow me over here. And I just want to say that there's a lot of topics of interest. Now, one of the topics of interest is Fran Grady Chihuly. There was a case in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, where this woman who was a guardian had 9 vials of cremated remains in her office. And all of the remains were unidentified. And she, about 4 weeks ago, that woman just got arrested, and Fran Grady Chihuly has been trying to find out if any of the remains are one of her son. And there's a reporter down there who is with ABC Orlando, and his name is Adam Washer, and he is also looking into Fran's situation. Now the case is kind of expanded, and we're hoping to have the Florida Attorney General, who is a woman, she just got elected, and she seems to be pretty thorough in her investigations, and we're trying to have her kind of pay attention to this guardianship in Florida. And we also want to find Brad, who is Fran's son. And the thing is that different people call me from time to time, and different people tell me about different cases that they want to be brought on the air. There's all sorts of guardianship cases. I got a call the other day, and a man told me that they were doing a lot of building on Arthur Hayes' property at Hayes LLC down on the waterfront on Western Avenue and Alaska Way, and all that waterfront property near the highway over, the Magnolia Bridge. And they wanted me to look into that. That the permits aren't properly received by Michael Longyear and the contractors that he's gotten to do the building, and that might require the Arthur Hayes family to tear down the buildings. And I've also heard from different people that want me to put on the air that the taxes on that estate and the taxes on the buildings that they're selling and the taxes on the homes that they're selling, those taxes might not be up to date. And then I was in Kirkland the other day, and I was at the Kirkland Heritage Center, and they're open 2 times a week. And they're open on Wednesday from like 2 to 6, and they're open on Monday from like 8 to 1. And I was asked to look into the old log cabin that was in Kirkland along the waterfront, and it used to be used for a medical center. And apparently there was a living trust involved with that log cabin. It was a historic log cabin. It was a medical office. It was existing in 2012. And then there were some land use issues that got done, and the whole side of the road got changed with the new land use of 2013. And that building got demolished with a few other buildings. And the Heritage Building is still there. But most of the other buildings that were on that street have been removed and new buildings have been put in. So I have a client, a person who called up, and they also want to know about what was the status of that log cabin. It was a landmark, it was a heritage landmark. It was there for the longest time, and it was the oldest log cabin in Kirkland, but yet it got torn down during that new land use memorandum that they did. And right now there's another land use situation happening for the other side of the street, and I had another person call me up to find out what other buildings on the other side of the street are going to be affected by it. And so from time to time people call me up about all sorts of things. Right now the topic is devil drugs, land use, historic buildings. Basically people aren't interested in the city council or the mayor's office. They're kind of interested in the grassroots, what's happening now. And so I'd like you to call me up if you have a question or a comment, or if you want to sit right over there